For just the 5th time in school history, a top 25 team has come to Buffalo to take on the Bulls. Today, it's the 24-ranked Kentucky Wildcats here inside of Alumni Arena. Hi, everybody, and good afternoon. I'm Paul Peck with Matt Mattia. Well, let's see what's going on today. We've got the home opener, got the new debut of a brand new Buffalo head coach. They're going to raise the WNIT banner, but the story is one of those rare occasions when a big-time school comes here, and today it's Big Blue.
Yeah, what an opportunity, not only for this team, but for these fans to watch one of the best teams in America in Kentucky. But there's a reason we're playing this game. Kentucky's star center, Strack, that name might be familiar for Western New York basketball fans. The Hamburg High School alum has come to Kentucky as she is one of the top bigs in America. She's off to another great start this season. We're going to dive more into Strack and what an unbelievable career she's having, but really cool opportunity for Clara to come back and play a game in her hometown. Let's look at the fuel for victory quick for Kentucky. They're going to have to control the rebounding. They are rebounding royalty, one of the top teams in America on the glass. They are an average height of over 6 feet tall. They can control the glass. They have a great chance of continuing this winning streak.
Fuel for Victory is brought to you by Upstate Farms, Milk for Life. How about Buffalo's Fuel for Victory?
They have to have poise and control, Paul. They turned it over 26 times in their season opening loss. You're going to have a tough time beating anybody doing that. If you turn it over 26 times against Kentucky, you're going to have a tough time keeping it within 30. And to help control that ball and maybe calm this team down a little bit, they're going to look at one of the 2 players that returned from that WNIT championship team. It's the junior Paula Lopez. She's going to be a calming voice for Buffalo out there today and is going to have to try to take care of that ball to make sure Buffalo can control the tempo against a very fast, very athletic Kentucky Wildcats team.
And there is Bulls' new head coach, Kristen Sharkey. She is used to being on that bench, but never before in the job as head coach. It's her home debut. Kenny Brooks in his 2nd year at Kentucky, but his 24th year as a very successful head coach. This should be a fun one here today. We've got a great crowd on hand. You've got a lot of folks that are here to cheer on Strack, but it's a great atmosphere. The WNIT banner just raised, so should be a fun one here today, Matt, to get the home season started.
Absolutely. What a treat we're getting. What an awesome opportunity for this Buffalo team. And there's a name you're going to say a whole lot today, Paul.
Yeah, the Strack fans are happy already because she rolls in off the low post, puts in the first 2 points of the game for Kentucky.
Size is going to be a huge issue. We're going to monitor that all game. Kentucky, an extremely tall, extremely long team. Buffalo does not have that size to match up. So that's a storyline that we're going to see how Buffalo's prepared to handle that.
Yeah, off the missed 3-pointer by Lopez. Good battle for the rebound from Anaya Rowe. Another possession here for the Bulls. Shot clock under 10. Lopez from the top of the arc hits it.
It's a mismatch, right? I mean, Strack, she's a phenomenal defender, obviously, but she's been taken way further away outside the paint there. Paula Lopez, a little bit quicker, a little bit of a better ball handler, able to take advantage.
Here's the starting lineup for the Kentucky Wildcats. Pretty standard, as it will be most of this year. Obi, Morgan, Key, Strack, and Hassett. And the Bulls come back the other way, and Anaya Rowe puts it in for a Buffalo lead. McDuffie, Rowe, Lopez, Lucas, and Carmen, your starting 5 for Buffalo. Here's Strack, beyond the arc, way off. Offensive rebound, up and in for Tiani Key.
Yeah, Strack can shoot it. She can play really everywhere on the court. She stands at 6'5", but incredibly versatile. So that's not the only 3-pointer you're going to see her take, and that is something that Kentucky does exceptionally well, Paul.
That's not the first time you'll see that. They were the best shot blocking team in the country last year, expected to be that way. You know what's really interesting to me is you have this front court of what Kenny Brooks refers to as his triplets, Strack, Key, and Hassett. They're all big, they can all block, they can all rebound, they can all shoot threes.
Exactly, yeah, they're just a matchup nightmare, right? I mean, we've already seen Strack step 22, 23 feet outside the paint and take a great-looking 3-pointer. So they're all incredibly versatile and just a super tough matchup here for any coach to prepare for.
Another block shot by Hassett will lead to a shot clock violation, and again, in their opening game, they had 12 blocks against Morehead State. Again, you know, this is a team that a Buffalo squad is just not used to seeing that kind of height, and how much they'll have to adjust their shots because of it will be interesting to watch.
Paul, I'd say this is a team that very few teams in the country are used to seeing. I mean, you're talking about the average height on this team is 6'1". The average height is 6'1". They've got 3 players that stand at 6'5", and another player at 6'4". They are just incredibly long.
Gabby McDuffie tried to save that off the rebound, but wound up stepping out of bounds. Cameron Inouye, Frank Sterator, and Felicia Young are officiating trio here for this afternoon. All of them are excellent, and as you would expect with a top 25 team here in town, you're getting the best of the best.
I'm impressed already with Buffalo's energy, their enthusiasm right off the tip. It's easy sometimes, I think, Paul, to be starstruck. You're playing a team that's much bigger, much longer, ranked, name brand, SEC school. It's maybe easy to come out and be just a little bit off, a little nervous, but so far Buffalo's look solid.
Quick inbounds and a quick baseline jumper for Clara Strack's second basket of the game. Hey, already Kentucky is getting a little bit of a different early battle than they did in their game the other night when they went up 21-1 on Monmouth. So the Bulls are battling, and Buffalo fell into a big hole in their opener against Marshall as well, too. And that's going to be a turnover. That was the issue for Buffalo, turning it over 26 times in the loss to Marshall.
They have to clean that up. You know, I said that in the open. 26 turnovers is, you're almost doomed to lose when that happens. If you do that against a team like Kentucky, this could get out of hand quick.
Now, keep in mind, Marshall pressed literally from the very beginning of the game. So,
which Kentucky will not be doing.
No. He'll turn around in the lane, put up and in for Jordan Obie. Missed all of last year after transferring to Kentucky from the University of Pennsylvania. They are excited to have her back and running the point guard position.
Yeah, it was 2024 all Ivy League first team player, so a great addition through the portal here to Kentucky, and just adds to this depth that we're going to see out of the Wildcats.
Get a foul on Amelia Hassett, and there's another example of just what would have been a simple pass across the lane to a cutter. When you have such big players with long arms, those arms get in those passing lanes, and that's just not something the Buffalo team is generally used to. And there's another partially blocked shot on the quick layup attempt for Gabby McDuffie.
Otherwise, a really nice job by McDuffie to flash to the ball. She was able to lose her defender and was just blocked from behind.
Strack no good on the three, but an offensive board put up and in by Tiani Key. And again, early on in this one, the rebounding advantage starting to show up for Kentucky.
Yeah, they're averaging through 2 games here, plus 16 in the rebounding margin. So they are used to dominating the glass.
Corner three for Meg Lucas, offensive rebound for Allie Carmen, but she feeds it right back to Toni Morgan of Kentucky. And Morgan dumps it down low for the cutter Strack, and Clara Strack will go to the free throw line after drawing the first foul on Buffalo. That will be on Meg Lucas.
Yeah, Kentucky goes quick sometimes, even with that length. You know, when you take a look at a team like this, when you've got 6'5", 6'5", 6'4" on the floor, you think maybe they're slower, back to the basket, bigs. They're not, and that's exactly what Coach Kenny Brooks told us. He goes, yeah, I've got 3 or 4 6'4" players on the court at any time, but we're going to run. They're going to get up and down the court. They're going to try to catch you sleeping. They're all incredibly athletic. And just like that, you see 6'5" Clara Strack running the court like a guard and draws the foul.
No good on the first free throw. What a cool moment this is for Clara Strack. As Kenny Burns said to us, he's never had a player who had a day before, but this is a weekend for Clara. Yesterday, had a chance to go to her old high school and meet a whole bunch of people. We will show you, and if you can't already tell, there's at least a couple of hundred folks from Hamburg High School, which, if you're not familiar, is about 25 minutes south of where we are here at UV's Alumni Arena. What a great moment, and what a tribute to Coach Burns and the Kentucky program for doing this for her. Nice little turnaround off the rebound for Janiyah Bohannon.
Yeah, really good job. She stuck with it there. She was able to spin off her defender, and a nice job following up her own shot and getting a good look from about 6 feet.
And the lane opened wide that time for Toni Morgan, but she misses the layup, and back come the Bulls. Here comes Anaya Rowe, looking for some room. Rowe will back off. Now stutter step move, put it off glass, no good. Strack with the rebound.
I think Rowe's got a lot of potential. She's going to grow into a really nice player here this year. She redshirted last season. She was one of those 2 players that we alluded to that was part of that WNIT championship 30-win team a year ago. Rowe, really good ball handler. She's fast, has a high basketball IQ. I'm excited to see her progression here in her first season playing for Buffalo.
Look at the aggressive defense for the Bulls, but eventually it breaks down, and Asia Boone is able to blow by and put the layup in, and we come to our first timeout. Kentucky now on an 11-2 run. Early on here, it's the blue, the big blue, and the blue and white here at UB's Alumni Arena. Ball is brought to you by our Game Change Her partners, M&T Bank, Catalyst Fitness, Western New York Women's Foundation, Best Self Behavioral Health, and Kaleida Health, helping elevate female leadership through athletics. If you're watching down in Kentucky, trust me, it's not like that here all the time, but we are getting our first little taste of snow here in Buffalo. You saw UB Stadium, the field already starting to get covered, expecting a little bit of an inch or two or so over the next couple of days here. Winter is well on its way here to Western New York.
Here I was thinking I might get one more round of golf in.
Yeah, not the next couple days, you're not. Off the steal, here come the Wildcats. Cross-court pass sets up Asia Boone for a wide-open three, no good. And that one will go out of bounds and stay with Kentucky.
I'm impressed early, Paul, by the passing out of the post by Kentucky. They all are very, very good. They almost like to pass first when they've got the ball a few feet away, and then scoring's like almost a secondary option, it seems. They're all just fantastic passers of the ball out of the post.
Yeah, when I rattled off all the things that those post players do, I didn't mention passing, but that needs to be on the list as well too. What an amazing opportunity to have those kinds of versatile players. It's going to be the second foul, that's going to be the first foul of the game on Diane Jackson of Buffalo.
That was a beautiful hezzy move there from Jordan Obi. 6'1", outsizing her defender, able to just give a little bit of a head fake, get a step on her defender, into the paint. Super impressed early on with the Wildcats.
Yeah, and again, your Jordan Obi, your point guard is 6'1", right?
It's crazy, isn't it?
What a treat for head coach Kenny Brooks to be able to mess around with all of that kind of height advantage and not have to worry about any restrictions that the tall players may not be as quick or as fast.
Yeah, it's just not the case.
Not the case at all. So it's now up to a 13-2 run after the 2 free throws for Jordan Obi, and Buffalo's battling, but they're struggling offensively right now, including that one from Diane Jackson, and here come the Wildcats again. Spinning it out is Tony Morgan, and she'll back it out, and they'll get it down low for Strack. Strack on Jackson, kicks it to the corner, three-pointer up, no good. Rebound Lopez. She'll trigger the Buffalo break. Cross-court for Rowe. And Anaya Rowe will slow it down.
Buffalo got lucky there defensively. They're playing man-to-man, and it was Meg Lucas who lost her assignment that possession and led to a wide-open three. Buffalo dodged one.
Foul's going to go on Tony Morgan. Of course, the challenge for Kristen Sharkey and the Bulls, as you mentioned, only one player back from last year, and that's Paola Lopez. Anaya Rowe was a red shirt, didn't play last year. So this is very much a new roster with new players that have never played together before until they got here, and there's a lot of experimenting going on right now.
Sure, it's the first-year head coach, right? You got to figure out what's our identity? What's our rotation? Who are my go-to players? You know, when you look at this roster and you look at Buffalo rosters of past years, there has often been a standout star, a standout scorer. When you look back all the way to assistant coach Joanna Smith, they don't have that this year. What's their identity? They don't have a Chella Watson. They don't have a Deasia Farah, Sierra Dillard. Who's going to be that player? I don't know that they know yet.
No.
And it's going to be, a learning curve. There's going to be some growing pains for this Buffalo team.
Don't realize how spoiled we have been around here. All those names that you rattled off, you could always count on one player. Hey, you need a basket here, or somebody needs to score 20 today in order to win.
They had that.
And that doesn't exist at the moment, right? At the moment. So
Buffalo had, for I think 5 out of 6 years, they had a top 5 scorer in America, right? From Sierra Dillard into Deasia Farah into Chella Watson. So we've had an embarrassment of riches here in Western New York, and this is a very capable team, very talented team, but they're young and they're new and they don't really know what their identity is yet. So yeah, it's going to take some time for this Buffalo team to get their feet under themselves.
We're getting a review on what was the offensive foul called on Meg
in the hit.
All right, watch it. They're looking to see whether there might be an elbow involved, and maybe it's that swing of the elbow by Meg Lucas, and you can see the Kentucky player get the glancing blow, maybe a little more than a glancing blow.
Yeah,
and
no intent
Lexi
there by
Blue.
any means, but definitely caught her across the facial region there with her elbow. I wouldn't be surprised to see this upgraded.
So Meg Lucas, who got called for her second foul, the freshman from Melbourne, Australia, will await to see whether it can be any worse than that.
How about Lexi Blue's outing for Kentucky against Monmouth? Is 6 of 7 from 3 for a career high 18 any good. Part of a 17 made threes this Wildcats team made on Thursday night. When we talked to Coach Brooks, he said, I don't think we're going to be expecting that a lot. We're somewhere in between maybe 17 and 4 or 5 in a game. So definitely not what they want their calling card to be, but it just goes to show how versatile this team is. Okay, you want to pack in the paint and try and make it hard on our bigs? Good, we'll step outside and make 17 threes in one game. It's just...
That's a little crazy.
They can kill you in so many different ways. I mean, coming off a 25 win a season ago, this Kentucky team, I honestly, they're picked 8th in the SEC. I find it hard to believe there's going to be 7 teams better than this Wildcats team this season in what is obviously a dominant women's basketball conference. All
right, so Cameron Inouye, Frank Steratore, Felicia Young huddling up, making a decision here. Frank looks like he wants to go look at it again to see whether there's some kind of a potential flagrant foul situation here with that elbow that we showed.
So I gotta stand here and do this. Okay. The foul on 24 Blue was reviewed and will be upgraded to an F1.
All right, so they will upgrade that to a flagrant 1 on Meg Lucas.
That's the right call, right? Flagrant 1 is just excessive, but not intentional, right? There was an elbow to the face. You can't let that go, but it's not a flagrant 2. Meg Lucas did not do that on purpose. She was just pulling the ball through, sort of a rip through, trying to be strong with the ball. Unfortunately, when your elbow catches the face of another player, that's a no-brainer flagrant 1.
Right, so it's going to send Lexi Blue to the line for a technical free throw, 2 technicals. And possession for Kentucky. And the first one will roll off for the sophomore from Orlando. And her first point of the game. Ups the lead now to 10, the largest lead of the afternoon for the Wildcats.
Yeah, Buffalo looked really good defensively in their season opener. Paul, I know the offense wasn't quite there. They failed to break 40 points, but defensively they were excellent. Completely different team, obviously, than playing against Marshall, but early on, I honestly, I understand Kentucky's got 16 points. They've just made some really good shots. Other than that, Buffalo's done a pretty good job, I think, preparing here, and they're doing a nice job staying in front of their defenders right now.
Yeah, I mean, again, Buffalo loses, but only gives up 53 points.
Sure.
Like, that's not going to happen very often. As long as they find some offense, they're going to win a lot of those games. Fall away baseline jumper for Strack is no good. Rebound tracked down by Diane Jackson. It's currently a 15-0 Kentucky run as the Bulls have gone 2.5 minutes without a basket. And, again, as we talked about, them finding some offensive rhythm is the challenge right now for Buffalo. And not only finding rhythm as a team, but finding who is going to provide that offense. And in that case, it's another turnover as Lopez had it knocked away. And the corner 3 will drop for Kaylin Carroll.
6 turnovers already, Paul. We've still got 2.5 minutes left in the first quarter. They're just being sloppy with the ball, getting a little bit too overzealous, I think, trying to dribble into trouble. There hasn't been a whole lot of opening space here for Buffalo offensively.
And again, not a great pass. Leaves Lopez with under 10 on the shot clock, looking for an opening. She'll pull up from 3. No good. Offensive rebound. Jackson had it blocked by Strack.
I don't know how you prepare to play against this team defensively. Another block.
You give the scout team brooms and you have them hold them up in the air, right? That's like an old Lefty Drizel trick, whom Kenny Brooks played for back when he was in college.
I'll take your word for it. It's just, what do you do there? Clara Strack, 6'5", she jumps, the long arms, outstretched arms. I mean, I guess in one regard, this is probably great practice for Buffalo in that sense that, this is by far the tallest team they're going to have to go up against. The next team on their schedule here coming up when they and they play at Vermont is going to feel like a completely different sport.
Yeah, 4 block shots already for the Wildcats. Little runner from the baseline, no good for Lopez. Rebound ripped down by Tiani Key. And here's Carroll, will work it left side for Boone. 3, no good. And again, another offensive rebound.
Rebounding-wise, Buffalo's holding their own right now. They've got a +1 advantage there in the rebounding category.
And that's going to go out of bounds. And that will go to the Bulls.
Nice job by Paula Lopez coming over from the weak side. She was able to jump in front of a passing lane and save what would have been a wide open layup. And I think she took a pretty good lick there. She's holding her back coming off the court.
Kristen Shark is going to use a lot of players. Again, all part of trying to figure out what the roles are and how the combinations will settle together. And one of the nice things is the Bulls have some size for their level, as you saw Allie Carmen on the high post, and hands off to another big Bohannon, pulls up, jumper no good. And a battle for the rebound will be a jump ball, and it will stay with the Bulls.
Yeah, look, offensively, they're trying to get into their sets. They're running some ball screens. They're trying to find open space. It's just very tough to get any separation. When Kentucky's playing this man-to-man defense, UB struggling to find open court here with that length.
Quick inbounds, McDuffie fakes, throws it up with the right hand and in. First 2 of the game for the grad student from right here in Buffalo, Gabby McDuffie.
That's a great case of taking what the defense will give you. She knew she couldn't go towards the basket. She kind of had to fade away with a little hook shot. It's a great tough take from McDuffie.
And Tiani Key, no good on the jumper, and the battle for the loose ball will result in a foul on Kentucky.
Kentucky foul on 0, Jordan Obi.
They'll go on Jordan Obi. Hey, cannot question the hustle right now.
No, absolutely.
For the Buffalo side, right? Again, the reality is the reality of playing a top 25 team like this, but right now the Bulls are battling. Are they down on the scoreboard? Are they struggling offensively? Yes, but there is no questioning the fight in the heart right now being shown by Buffalo.
Kristen Sharkey coaching on the sideline there.
True.
That is a non-negotiable.
There was never any questioning that of her as a player and coach at any point.
Nope, that is a non-negotiable. You score 39 points, but you worked your tail off and you dove for every loose ball. Fine, we'll fight on in the next game, but the minute that effort goes down is the minute Coach Sharkey is going to have an issue.
Traveling was the call. 7th turnover of the game for the Bulls. Amelia Hassett checks back in for Kentucky. Number 24 in the AP ranking. Oh, nearly a steal. Is it? Yes.
Great effort.
Good hands. Good battle there by the freshman Deanna Thompson. Oh, nice hands. We'll swat that ball right out of the hands of Asia Boone.
Try to get into a ball screen offense here and free up a little bit of space.
Thompson threw it up there to try to beat the buzzer. Good battle for the Bulls, but already Kentucky's height and skill is starting to show here on this trip to Buffalo. 1 quarter in the books. The Wildcats hold an 11-point lead. UB Basketball is brought to you by Basic Supplements. At Basic Supplements, we keep it simple to fuel your performance with everything you need and nothing you don't. Essential ingredients, powerful results, made for everyone. It just keeps getting worse out there. I am not ready for this yet.
This is a joke. You think Kentucky even has like winter jackets? Like, do these players like they dress appropriately to leave the stadium today?
You know, we're not even to November 15th
Who's
yet.
asking
I am
these questions?
not ready for any of this yet.
Get these kids some jackets, some hats, some mittens. They probably want to get back to the Bluegrass State immediately.
Start of the second quarter here at UB's Alumni Arena. 24th ranked Kentucky Wildcats lead 19-8. A 17-4 run in that first quarter of the real key there, but the battling Bulls are doing their best to hang in there, and off the steal by Janiyah Bohannon. It goes out of bounds and back to Kentucky. How about the Bulls out-rebounding the much bigger Wildcats 13-10 in that first quarter?
It's to your point, the effort is through the roof, and that's, again, no surprise with Coach Sharkey. She's got these kids ready to play. Just offensively, they can't get any space. They can't get anything going, sets, their ball screens. They're getting no separation. They're going to have to start shooting the lights out of it here.
Clara Strack, the Hamburg, Western New York native, leading scorer, 5 points in that quarter. We'll try it again. That is pretty.
That's
wow.
You can't guard that.
You cannot guard that. Head coach Kenny Brooks called her a steady Freddie, and I think in his book that's probably the ultimate compliment was, and that's both as a player and mentally. Doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low, just always does what she needs to do. And again, she's got an excuse to get a little bit too high for this weekend, doesn't look like it. Off the steal, back the other way for two is Tiani Key.
6'5", just ran the floor like a point guard.
How about that?
Guarding a guard who's trying to get an entry pass into the paint. It's just so tough to get around her.
Yeah, just so much fun to watch the incredible collection of talent that the Wildcats have. And like you said, for them to be picked preseason 8th in the SEC is shocking. That one goes for Anaya Coleman, first three of the game for the Bulls. And Strack with the blow-by for two. And the Clara Strack fans over behind the Kentucky bench are liking what they're seeing from the first ever player from Hamburg High School, girls basketball player to get a Division I scholarship.
It's a pretty big deal. I know you'd say your kids are from that school district. That's a pretty cool deal.
We live there. My kids have gone to that school. It's a great school with a terrific athletic history, but not necessarily it turning out those kinds of players. Clara Strack is the leading scorer in school history for either boys or girls.
That's 1,700 points.
Yeah, so that's why it's such a big deal. You know, just because she is just a transcendent player and a role model for every kid that goes to that school, went to that school, and will go to that school. Which is why there were a couple of hundred that turned out at the meet and greet in the gym yesterday, which was a terrific idea and a terrific event.
Young, too. She's only her junior year. I mean,
19 years old.
What she's put together through 2 years is remarkable. And to think that she's got the rest of this year and all of next year to continue to get better and build on this legacy is just scary.
Well, on one end, Deanna Thompson got to the rim, couldn't finish. On the other end, the attempted finish will draw a Buffalo foul on Anaya Coleman.
No one stopped the ball.
Nope. Just allowed Tony Morgan to go right to the rim.
No one stopped the ball. Everyone was looking, and rightfully so, looking for Clara Strack, trying to shut her down and take away the passing lane. And you forgot step one in transition defense. Stop the ball.
Lots of substitutions for both squads here. Bulls are going to go about 10 deep this year. Kentucky maybe 8, you know. I mean, again, you've got the benefit of not wanting to take a lot of your star players out of the game. Off the pick and pop, it goes for Amelia Hassett.
17 points, 7 boards. Last time out against Monmouth, another player that stands at 6'4". She's hit a 3 in every game so far this season. That just stretches the floor unbelievably well. Nice cut.
And a bad pass, stolen back by Anaya Rowe, and it just rolls off. And again, the height there from Tiani Key at 6'5" to grab the rebound.
Beautiful ball fake there from Anaya Rowe. She got both defenders off their feet with a little pump fake and just couldn't get it to go.
Boy, and Tiani Key on both ends of the court, getting one rebound, getting the other. That one unfortunately goes out of bounds for her and will go to Buffalo. Preseason SEC all-second team is Tiani Key. Transfer a couple of years ago from North Carolina. Rowe, top of the key for Thompson. Deanna Thompson, nice dribbling, and then Clara Strack just sends it into the first row.
I don't even know how she got to that ball. I mean, she had 2 steps on her going to the rack, and she did a great job, Thompson, protecting the ball there. I mean, she did everything she could to avoid that block. She went offhand with her left, tried to stretch it out. It's just, you can't do anything to stop it.
That's your SEC Defensive Player of the Year from last year, Clara Strack.
Kentucky foul on 33, Josie Gilvin.
Foul called on Gilvin of Kentucky on that inbound. Bulls will try it again, get it into Jackson. Hands off to Coleman. Sets the screen, Coleman kicks it. This is Thompson on the low blocks now. Bohannon off glass, too hard, no good. Rebound, Strack. 9 points, 4 rebounds to Clara Strack. Hassett again for 3, front rim, no good. And that will go to the Bulls.
I think they're going to get an over-the-back foul there as well. I've been impressed with Bohannon today as well. She's playing really hard. As has Amber Howard, who's out there right now. She's putting in a couple of good minutes.
Also in number 8, Asia Moon.
Another player I like her game. I mean, it's early, so we're all still trying to learn these players too. But Anaya Coleman, she's got a great little movement on offense. She's a great ball handler.
Another in that long line of great players from the Rochester area to come here to Buffalo. Anaya Coleman from Pittsburgh, New York.
Right next door to my hometown.
Offensive foul on the Bulls. Second of the game on Diane Jackson. Sierra Dillard, Deasia Fair. I'm sure I've forgotten a couple here and there, but the pipeline from
Dante
Rochester.
Carruthers,
yeah, well, on the
believe.
men's side, sure.
Janathan Williams.
Janathan Williams,
Yeah.
Javon McCrae going back. For those not knowing, Rochester's about an hour away from Buffalo, so really very similar cities, and this is a place where a lot of those players will want to come because Rochester does not have a Division I basketball program in town. Off the miss by Tiani Key, here come the Bulls. Because we know there's a lot of folks watching down there in Kentucky. We're about an hour east to Rochester and about another hour from Rochester to Syracuse, if you just head east across the New York State Freeway. There's your geography lesson.
Had to get in your alma mater toss in there, huh?
Well, you know, I'm
plug.
trying to educate. Oh, that's nice. Off glass, up and in. The power move for Amber Howard, the transfer from North Carolina A&T.
Yeah, great minutes from Howard here. She's got that build to be able to stick with these Kentucky players athletically. She's got some length as well.
Kaylin Carroll's 3 won't go. Battle for the rebound.
Oh, Anaya Rowe.
And look at Anaya Rowe, another Rochester product.
I like this. Push with a little bit of pace. Make these bigs run the floor for Kentucky.
Kick it out. 3 goes for Amber Howard.
A couple of nice little possessions back-to-back for Buffalo. I think that's the answer. If you try to slow this down and play Kentucky in the half court, I think their height's just too much. I'd like to see Buffalo run.
The sophomore from Philadelphia, Amber Howard, getting a nice pass and popping in the 3. One place, champions choose crossbars. Is that your car in there somewhere? Hope you brought the snow brush.
Gone. Seek help.
Yeah, and somewhere in the back of that picture between the snowflakes is actually Alumni Arena where we are now. Oh man.
I hate it here. Get me out.
Well, guess I'm glad I got the snowblower fired up about a week ago. Nice little run going on here. 5-0 run for the Bulls. They've held Kentucky scoreless for almost 3 minutes right now. Clara Strack had that shot blocked, but she was fouled.
Buffalo foul on 43.
Foul's going to go on Allie Carmen, and it's going to send Strack to the line. New York State High School Player of the Year when she was a senior at Hamburg High School, where she averaged 24 points and 16 rebounds. And as I mentioned, she holds the school record for either boys or girls in most points scored at her high school.
Can you imagine watching her in high school play against some of those other teams? They should have been allowed to play with like 7 players on the court.
Well, I'll tell you who did watch her play in high school, because you know where her very first scholarship offer came as a high school freshman?
I have a guess.
Right here from Kristen Sharkey at UB.
Yeah, no,
as
that's...
a freshman in high school.
Oh, Clara's in the game. All right, other team, you can put 2 more players in to try guard her. Go for it. And she's dominating in the SEC. It's just unbelievable to picture her in Hamburg just dropping 25 on everyone day in and day out.
A little bit of a late bloomer. She was mostly a softball player, and then she kind of grew a little bit later on. That's a little bit of the backstory for her. That's an over and back. That will be a turnover on the Bulls.
Well, I think that leads to why she's so good as a ball handler. She trained and grew up as a guard. She didn't hit her growth spurt, we were told, until later in high school. So for years and years, she was just a ball handler. That's why she's so good at passing. She does things so much better than your stereotypical center would, because she quite literally didn't train to be a center until later in her career.
Off the miss, battling for the rebound. We're going to get a jump ball. We do, and that will go back to Buffalo. So, yeah, one more note about Clara Strack. You know, when Kenny Brooks was at Virginia Tech, started to recruit her and called her gangly, long, and athletic when he saw her play AAU basketball, but took a chance on her, and then she followed him to Kentucky from Virginia Tech because of the relationship there.
I just can't stop laughing at some poor kid who got out of like math class at like 3 o'clock and had to go guard Clara Strack afterwards.
Yeah, this has become a pretty good area for turning out some pretty high-level women's basketball players. We've had a few that have gone to the very highest levels here, and that continues as well. So it's kind of a sneaky good area for women's college basketball talent. And I'm sure that is something that Kristen Sharkey will focus some of her recruiting on here to keep some of those players home. 16-point Kentucky lead here, second quarter. Down low for Strack, and that will be a turnover. She wants a call, but good defense that time from Anaya Coleman.
She was telling Coach Brooks to challenge that. She thought it went off of Coleman's foot. My question is, why was Anaya Coleman guarding Clara Strack on the right block?
And I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, he's going to trust his star player.
This is new to college basketball, both on the men's and women's side this year, where coaches have the ability to challenge via video, specifically an out-of-bounds play like that. So we're seeing it for the first time here.
It's an interesting new little wrinkle. I don't know how much it's going to impact on a night-to-night basis.
The ruling on the floor is blue ball, and that's under review.
Yeah, so you can see there's no limit. If you challenge and you prove to be incorrect, it'll cost you timeout. And you still get to do one if you don't have the timeouts, but you can see
that last one.
That's a really good one.
How electric is that going to be late in the game? You're trusting for sure that your player knows what she's talking about. I think she's right.
Oh, I think, did it hit her foot?
I think it did. I think
yeah, the left edge of Anaya Coleman's foot. So out of bounds, backcourt violations, change in possession before the ruling of a foul, and whether the foul was correctly assessed are what can be challenged by coaches.
That's just going to be unbelievable. I hope we get a situation like that. 12 seconds left on the clock, 1-point game, no timeouts left. Challenge it, and the impending issue, if you miss, is you get a technical foul, which is just a hilarious repercussion.
Well, you know, the Sterator family knows how to handle these reviews, at least some people think they do. So Frank Sterator getting a look at it there. And again, those are the plays that can be...
The coach's appeal is successful. The ball was off of Blue's foot. It'll be white ball with 19 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, there you go. So Kenny Brooks is 1 for 1 on his challenges here.
Well, he trusted his star player. Immediately, Clara Strack turned around and was waving to her coach that went off of Coleman's toe, and she was correct.
Off the inbounds, they get it to Hassett, and that's offensive foul.
Well, that's what you get rewarded for winning your first challenge with, an offensive foul.
So, well, good. I'm glad we got a chance to see one of those because, it is a rather dramatic change in college basketball, and that was a pretty clear call there for the second foul on Amelia Hassett.
The second you take your hand off that ball and put it into the chest of your defender, that is going to be called every time. And I think it only helps in Anaya Coleman's case that she's about 8 inches shorter than who she was guarding there, so it always looks a little bit more dramatic when she gets pushed.
Lopez and Rowe playing catch. A little over 2 minutes to go, second quarter. Shot clock now under 10, down to 5. McDuffie, Lopez gonna have to shoot. She won't, Rowe will. I don't know that she would have beaten the shot clock anyway, but it didn't go in, and that wasn't a great offensive set that time for the Bulls.
Yeah, just can't get any separation. They were trying to get that ball screen offense again, but just nothing really opening up offensively. Great find.
Strack kicks it out, baseline jumper, no good for Jordan Obi, and that's going to be a foul.
Just another really good pass out of the block. Oh, and we got a little bit of extracurricular activity there. That looked like Anaya Rowe had a few words for a couple of the Kentucky interior defenders.
Well, you know, those Rochester people don't back down from anything, do they? Oh, and Clara Strack is like, hey, what are you doing there? Well,
you know what? You can't fault Anaya Rowe for getting that foul there.
No.
I mean, make her earn it at the free throw line. There's nothing dirty there. Just Rowe and Strack just had a little chit-chat after the play, that's all.
All right, so the 6'5" junior from Hamburg, New York, to the free throw line. So far, 11 points and 5 rebounds on her homecoming here to Western New York for Clara Strack. You know, we asked Coach Brooks, you know, this is a lot for her to handle, right?
Sure.
All of the festivities and being home and all the friends and family and all the events. And, you know, I said, I asked if he was worried about her handling, and that's kind of where he said she's just a steady Freddie. None of this stuff bothers her.
Yeah, wiser than her years, I think, is another one that he kind of referred to, that she's just got a really good head on her shoulders. You alluded to it earlier, even on the court, she doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low, very mature.
Yeah, she said no moment is ever too big for her.
Yep.
And that was nearly another blocked shot there for Strack, but I think they're going to get her for the foul.
And that's aggressive take there by Anaya Rowe. And a good find from Coleman there along the baseline. Great job maneuvering in the air there to draw the contact from Rowe.
So Anaya Rowe to the free throw line for Buffalo, the redshirt freshman from Rochester, New York. Played at Bishop Kearney High School and led them to a state championship back in 2022. Remind me later to tell you a cool piece of trivia about Anaya Rowe. Don't let me forget.
All right,
right to the basket goes Tony Morgan for her first 2 of the game. Something for Anaya Rowe that will go down in UB women's basketball history. Oh, I got you intrigued, huh?
I am. I don't know where this is going. Travel.
And that's going to be a travel by Amber Howard, as she kind of knew it and flipped it over her head, hoping maybe she would get the foul call there.
Now, she tried to put her back to the basket and get Clara Strack to bite on a little move one way, but no such luck.
Bulls have never beaten an SEC team. Of course, that's what they're doing, trying to do here today. 0-7 lifetime against the SEC are the Buffalo Bulls. Good ball movement to the corner. That's Kaylin Carroll, no good. Key with the rebound and the putback.
I'm trying to think, was the last SEC team South
you were
Carolina,
there.
I
South
believe.
Carolina.
Yeah.
Was that the Sweet 16?
That was the Sweet 16. Yep. That was when Buffalo beat South Florida and Florida State on their way to the Sweet 16. Lost to
Tennessee was the following year, I believe.
That's right. Good shot. I called that game too. Yep. That was a really good, that was a tough one. That was first round of the NCAA tournament. Yep.
Final seconds of the first half here. Buffalo down by 20. Lopez throws it up. It won't go. And one last possession here for the Wildcats. Obi kicks to the corner. Strack throws it up, and she wanted a foul, and I don't think she'll get one. And that will bring our first half to an end. It was a 17-4 run in the first quarter that started to pull Kentucky away on the day that the Bulls unveiled their WNIT championship banner. And right now the Wildcats are flexing their muscles. It's a 20-point Kentucky lead. Set to go in the second half here. It was a fun, memorable yet quirky moment to begin this game when the Bulls unveiled their WNIT banner. You saw Paula Lopez. She is the only player that played in that game from last season. And while a lot of the fans that are here today were here then,
sure,
it's just the world of living in that the coach is gone, most of the players are gone, and very few people with direct connections to that moment are still here.
What a cool run that was, but you're right, it is quirky. I mean, to walk one player out to the court as you drop the banner and say, hey, Paula, great job. What she was a key piece down the stretch in that WNIT run. But, you know, it's still cool for us to reflect on it, the fans to have enjoyed that.
What a memorable run. I know you won't, and I know I won't, and I know a lot of people won't forget that crowd, that atmosphere for the championship game.
And I think that was the coolest thing about it, was the buy-in from the community. Every game, they only had to go on the road once during that WNIT championship run, and every game you thought it was the biggest crowd you had seen, and then the next game the town came and outdid it. And just for that UB team to leave it all out on the court, and an unbelievable performance from Kirsten Lewis-Williams and Chella Watson and Jordan Beatty, and to have Paula Lopez, Ariana Sewell, everybody bought in. Coach Burke kept everybody together and in that foxhole, and for them to go out there and beat even a team like, I mean, that Troy team was really darn good in the championship, but to beat Rutgers in the Fab Four just a game before that, what a really, really cool win for the program. To say you got to play in April, which not many college basketball teams say they can do. So pretty cool pregame to be able to honor that team from a year ago, albeit wildly different than the one we're watching right now.
It is just the world of college athletics that we are all living in right now. Well, I feel better about the second half now because we just had one of the Bulls' all-time greats, Sierra Dillard, come up and say hello. So that might be. Well, you know, you were talking, you were working.
Over here.
I wasn't, so she came and said hello to me. So it's always good to have her in the building. So she coming back now to say hello to you now.
CD was my plane partner. She wasn't the biggest fan of flying when she transferred here, and I remember the first flight we went on, we had to sit next to each other. And then it went well, it went smooth, and from there on out, she was stuck next to me for the rest of the season. One of the all-time greats. Yeah, with having a great professional career as well. Yeah, and again, Kristen Sharkey was on the staff, and she was a player, so a lot of connections, bringing a lot of those great players back. Oh, what a pretty turnaround for Clara Strack. There are only a few players in the country that can make that basket. That was impressive. She was a Lisa Leslie Center of the Year, top 10 finalist last year. She was a preseason this year, Lisa Leslie Center of the Year watch list. I think there is a really good chance we are watching the best center in all of college basketball here this afternoon. Yeah, preseason All-SEC second team, and again, which is crazy. I know, but it's the SEC, and there's a lot of really good players. Oh, I know there is, but man. Traveling is the call there, and hey, you know what? That's what Clara Strack has the chance to prove all those people wrong. No kidding. And if any of it is based on what we've seen so far from her here today, there's a pretty good chance she'll do just that. He's also named to the Naismith Trophy Player of the Year watch list, not just center, but overall Player of the Year for America. So high honors here preseason for Clara Strack, which is just, again, hard to believe she's only starting her junior year. Yeah, Tiani Key trying to spin off the low block and got fouled by Allie Carmen, Carmen's third foul of the game. The senior from Barnegat, New Jersey, the transfer from Iona, Allie Carmen, we'll have to check out. You know, it's just to follow up on your point about, you know, the WNIT, and then roughly 72 hours later you lose your coach, and probably within a week of that you lose almost the entire roster. So Paula Lopez had gone into the portal, so when Kristen Sharkey took the job here, she had zero players on the team. I think Anaya Rowe had verbally committed, if I'm not wrong, to already leave. I think she was it Eastern Michigan, I want to say, within the MAC, that she had announced she was leaving. So great job by Coach Sharkey. Right. And that's a testament to her that she got in here sort of behind the eight ball, having to start completely over, which is nearly impossible to build a roster in that short of time. Yeah. And for her to be able to get Anaya Rowe and Paula Lopez back out of the portal and here in Buffalo to have even just the slightest bit of continuity. How about a nice assist that time for Clara Strack to Jordan Obie? She's been just fantastic. She just does everything for this team. There is nothing that she is not able to do from top to bottom, and what a treat that is. Paula Lopez with the runner from the lane took a hard hit and went down hard and is still down. Yeah, she took a hit earlier in the game as well. She had a back heating pad on during halftime, trying to keep it loose. Oh, that just sounded. We could hear that all the way up here at the top of the 100 section, how hard she hit the court, and now trainer and head coach Kristen Sharkey out there to help her up. But Paula Lopez, the junior from Spain, and the only returning regular on this team, gets a nice round of applause.
So a little more roster mixing and matching. You can see assistant coach Allison Spatchek in the middle of that huddle while Kristen Sharkey helps. Oh man, just talk about hitting a brick wall of Tiani Key. And it looks like they are working on that back as well. So the foul was on Tiani Key there, and Deanna Thompson will replace Lopez in the lineup and shoot the free throws. First points of the game for Deanna Thompson, freshman from Los Angeles.
Right around the corner, LA.
Yeah. Don't look outside.
Spent all this time
Deanna,
talking about the Buffalo players
look
and the
outside.
Rochester players.
Just don't. My advice to you is don't look outside right now. And that three will not go for Key. Rebound for the Bulls. Lucas will get it into the front court for Thompson. You know, both of these coaches have talked about wanting to be challenged in the non-conference part of the schedule. And I know you asked Coach Brooks about exactly how hard he wants to challenge his team with a very difficult non-conference schedule.
Yeah, and he gave a really interesting answer, and I appreciate the honesty. You know, a lot of coaches will give a politically correct or a cookie-cutter answer, and he said, you know, truthfully, we're looking at the net here this year, right? This is absolutely a team in Kentucky that if they don't win the SEC championship, they're up for an at-large bid, right? They're going to look at their net ranking when it comes down to that, and he said, you know, when we go on the road and take care of business, going all the way up to Buffalo, and you know they're going to go at Marshall and at Louisville and at Miami and at Belmont. That's a ton of road games for a top 25 team. But if they do what they know they're capable of doing on the road, that's going to reward them a ton down the stretch in March, as opposed to just camping out in your home gym and beating everybody, which isn't rewarded as much by the net. So, interesting answer. I appreciated the honesty that he said, yeah, we're playing the numbers. We're playing the formula right now. Let's go on the road and get some wins, only to bolster our resume here come March time.
Good hustle on defense by the Bulls. Kentucky still be able to move the ball around, get it to the corner for Boone. That shot might have been partially deflected. Lucas with the rebound, leading the break for the Bulls. Meg Lucas goes by everybody, misses the layup. Gets it back, tries again, misses that one. It was blocked by Strack. And again, everything about that was done well, except for not hitting the bucket for Lucas. And Strack running the floor, gets another two. Block on one end, bucket on the other.
It's like she's so quick up and down the court. She's in great physical shape to be able to run up and down the court like that. Her conditioning's off the charts. And again, you pointed out, everything was good for Buffalo there. It was a good defensive stop on one end. I liked that they went out and run. Don't let Kentucky set up that defense, try to catch them in transition. Just not able to convert.
Foul's going to go on Obi on the attempted drive by McDuffie. And here you get a look at that last sequence, and there's the block by Strack. And on the other end,
I'd love to know what her wingspan is.
Yeah. Cross-court pass, great pass. Lucas with the finish off the pass from Anaya Rose. How's that for an inbound play?
I want to say that was a play we saw back in the Felicia Leggett Jack Kristen Sharkey days. I think that was a rerun play from years ago.
We'll get a media timeout coming off of that play. Watch it again. Pretty pass, pretty finish here at Buffalo's Alumni Arena. Well, this is the 5th ranked team to play here at UB's Alumni Arena. And outside of the 2 Bowling Green Mid-American Conference opponents, there's a reason for all of them, right? It's unusual when you get one of those teams to come here. Of course, we know why Kentucky's here. Stanford came here because their legendary head coach, Tara Vanderveer, is from Buffalo. And while my memory doesn't exactly get me to the point on North Carolina, we think they had a local area player and wanted to play a game up here.
Checks out. What was that, 2000?
2000. That was a win for Buffalo.
Nice. Yeah, I remember it vividly. I was 6.
Stop it. You were watching Blue's Clues or something that day. Tiani Key with the bucket to get the double figures for Kentucky. So it's a rarity, right?
Sure,
I mean, normally those teams are not coming on the road to play a Mid-American Conference team. It just doesn't happen in college basketball, football, or college much of anything, which is why we credit Kenny Brooks for doing what he did in order to have the opportunity for one of his important players to be able to bask in the glow of the love of her hometown.
Well, that makes sense, too. I mean, for a lot of the better part of the last 10 years, this Buffalo team has beaten Power 4 and Power 5 teams. So, you know, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you're a ranked team to come here and challenge a team like Buffalo on their home court. I mean, you're talking about a Buffalo team that's beaten, you know, South Florida and Florida State and hung with Oregon, hung with Stanford, hung with Tennessee, beat Rutgers, hung with South Carolina, went on to win a national championship, you know, so.
Yeah, there's been a lot of those games. And like you said, more wins for Buffalo than you would normally expect from a Mid-American Conference level team. And you know what the common denominator in a lot of that is? Kristen Sharkey and one of her assistants, Summer Hemphill, were all a part of that. Tiani Key with the bucket. Again, that's 2 in a row for her. Kristen Sharkey said she was going to have Summer Hemphill talk to the team about what it's like to play in these kinds of games. And that was going to happen over the last couple days. Yet another block shot for Clara Strack.
Yeah, Summer, obviously, I think she's probably sitting over there wishing she could toss on that number 0 jersey of hers and come out here and see if she can hang with Clara Strack. I mean, you're talking about Summer, her sophomore year when Buffalo went to the Sweet 16. She averaged 10.5 points and 6.5 rebounds a game during those 3 NCAA tournament games. And, you know, so she, to your point, she played a lot of those top-ranked, top 25 opponents over the years. And who better to talk to your squad about how to prepare mentally, how to be ready, how to adjust to a team that's faster and taller than you are. So that's a really nice advantage that Coach Sharkey has on her bench, that she's got one of the all-time greats in a Buffalo uniform.
Paola Lopez back in the ballgame with a pretty basket right there. There's both the mental and the physical side of it. The physical side we've already talked about. Longer, more length, more skill, quicker, faster. Then there's the mental side of like, oh my gosh, that's Kentucky, that's South Carolina, that's Tennessee.
Yep, that 100%. I still remember in I believe it was the second round of the 2019 NCAA tournament, Buffalo had beaten Rutgers. They were a 10 seed against a 7. They got matched up against UConn, and it was like 18-0 before Buffalo snapped out of their funk. They ended up only losing by 12. But to your point, mentally, you're standing across the court from Gino Auriemma and the Connecticut Huskies. That's a huge mental hurdle.
Yeah, we're going to take another timeout here as you watch Paola Lopez flip it up and in. Back for more third quarter action coming up on ESPN+. Community. We talked a little bit about the challenging non-conference schedule for Kentucky. Well, look what Buffalo has done. They have had 12 straight non-conference winning seasons. But if that streak comes to an end this year, it'll be because Kristen Sharkey said she wants to be challenged in the non-conference.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously a challenge, right? That, you know, that Sun Belt matchup at Marshall, that's a tough place to go play. Vermont, their next game up, that's a good program. The Bonnies are playing pretty well early. Fordham out of the A-10. This is absolutely not a walk in the park non-conference slate. And I think it's a really wise move by Kristen Sharkey to do that. You're not fighting for an at-large pick, right, out of the Mid-American Conference usually. There is going to be no resume talk at the end of the year, so why not challenge your team, make them learn through fire so that when the Mid-American Conference season comes around, you're better prepped to go on the road and host these really good teams in the MAC.
Amber Howard draws the foul on Tiani Key as she tries to drive to the baseline. And again, non-conference scheduling can be give me a bunch of hard teams to get myself ready, or give me a bunch of easy teams so I can pad my record.
Sure.
Every coach has a different idea and a different way of doing it. So I guess that's my warning to you is don't read too much into the records you see over the next month and a half.
Totally agree.
Scramble for the loose ball, jump ball. It will stay with the Bulls.
It will stay with Buffalo.
It's easy to see a non-conference record and try and make a judgment of a team. I remember here in the Mid-American Conference, I think it was 2 seasons ago, Ball State came in at about 500 in their non-conference, and then they won 14 conference games and won the conference tournament. They just played a really tough, demanding schedule and then cruised through the MAC.
Yeah, errant pass there on the inbounds. Lopez just had to flip it, and it winds up in the hands of the Wildcats. And Asia Boone on the other end can't get it to finish. Back come the Bulls. Here comes Lopez, pushing the pace, flipping it up, and in.
Good move from Paola Lopez there. Good little head fake crossover.
Couple second half baskets for Paola Lopez, both after she took that hard hit and had to go onto the bench and spend some time with the trainers. High post now for Key, guarded by Howard. And that's going to be a foul on Amber Howard.
Just the speed from the footwork there.
Yeah, like just that quick turnaround.
Yeah, just to be able to face the basket and rip through like that. But here's that little slight body hesitation. And a tough finish from Lopez.
Inbound, goes to Key, and a little hand back to Tony Morgan. Now top of the key, stolen away. Quick hands that time by Deanna Thompson. That's your second steal of the afternoon. Lopez again, got it to go.
Couple of acrobatic finishes from Lopez, but credit Thompson with that one. She could half of those points there, because that all got started from great active hands defensively.
Three goes up, in and out for Lexi Blue. And it's going to be a foul on the Wildcats. Third foul on Jordan Obi. And right now the Bulls are winning the hustle battle going on right here. Granted, it's a lot of bench players in for Kentucky at the moment. We'll see how quickly that changes.
Well, bench players means one thing for Kentucky and a different for a lot of people.
It just means they're
McDonald's All-American coming off the bench, five-star recruit coming off the bench.
Exactly.
Their second squad could probably go win like 22 games this year.
Yeah, Meg Lucas, the freshman from Melbourne, Australia, part of a great pipeline of Australian players the Bulls have had here, and of course led by the outstanding guard from a few years ago, Stephanie Reed. Meg Lucas trying to keep that tradition alive. One of two free throws, three in the game for Lucas. Get it down low for Strack. She'll kick it back to the top of the key. And they'll work it over to the corner to Jordan Obi. Back to Strack. Up and in. Boy, once she got that turn, you knew that was going up and in. That is 18 points and 6 rebounds for Clara Strack.
I liked that change defensively too. Buffalo not playing man-to-man there. They're kind of trying to pack things in, that matchup zone. Kentucky not shooting the ball well from deep. I mean, Buffalo's held the Wildcats to 2 of 17 from beyond the arc.
No good for Lopez. Offensive rebound for Howard. Feeds into the lane. Lucas too hard off the glass. And the rebound pulled in by Key. That's 9 rebounds in the game for Tiani Key. Blue had that shot blocked by Rowe. And it's taken away, but no, Lopez stepped on the end line.
Yeah, you know, I think mentally too, we've seen some layups and some baskets right around the rim be missed for Buffalo. I think that's more mental than anything. When you know that there are 2 to 3 unbelievable shot blockers lurking next to you, behind you, in front of you, seems a little rushed. You're almost anticipating the contact. We've seen a couple of those shots from inside the circle, right around the basket. Buffalo just kind of rush them and not be able to make. It's almost, you know, mentally anticipating that, oh no, this is going to get blocked. I got to put it up quick.
Quick inbounds to Strack. Oh, she cleared a lot of space out, and that's why she gets called for the foul.
Yeah, you know, I want to see this again.
She'll get away with a lot in her hometown, not that though.
No, Kentucky's bench was upset about that. That's the right call. She went right into Rowe's kind of chest, throat area with her left elbow. You know, again, no intent or malicious move there, but I think that's the right call.
Second foul of the game on Clara Strack. High post now for Diane Jackson. Back to Lopez, screen for Jackson. Lopez goes the other way. Again, high post, Jackson. She'll drive in, trying to turn on Strack. Head and shoulder fake, now kick it back out. Shot clock down to 5. Lopez puts up the 3, high arcer, front rim no good. But the rebound tracked down by Rowe. And a reset for Lopez. Anaya Rose 3, no good. Strack with the rebound and then draws the foul. Rebound number 7 for Clara Strack, as the foul is going to go on Diane Jackson. Well, Clara Strack got the ultimate thrill of any Buffalo sports fan. She got to go to training camp to see the Bills over the summer, because there are 3 Kentucky Wildcats on the Buffalo roster, and particularly Ray Davis, the running back, has a great relationship with Coach Brooks. And there's Clara Strack saying, courts, training camps, football, basketball, I'm good at all of it.
Just an embarrassment of riches Coach Brooks has on this team. That is just stupid that she's able to do that and step that far outside at 6'5".
To follow the point, Ray Davis, Maxwell Hairston, the Bills' first-round pick, and Deion Walker, the defensive lineman, all Kentucky grads who all have some relationships not only with Coach Brooks but with Strack herself. And Strack didn't block that one but affected it and then grabs the rebound. She swings the elbow. And now we get pushing and shoving with Key and Janiyah Bohannon. And Strack has to be pulled, and
she's talking
hearing
some
it
smack
from some of the fans here.
Wait a minute, I kind of love it. She was talking some smack to some of the Buffalo fans there. Hey-o. I think, was that Howard that she got kind of tied up with there? Or was that Bohannon? I can't see that. 32. Yeah, 32. Bohannon. Yeah, so it looked like Bohannon didn't love the fact that Strack kind of threw her elbow off, and she had some words, and Strack didn't back down.
And then Key stepped right in the middle of it as well, too. So we're going to go to the monitor.
I don't think I'm stepping up to talk any smack to this Kentucky front court. So good for Bohannon for not backing down. You can see that little clear out there, and Bohannon didn't like it. She said, "Wait a minute, yeah, all right, okay."
So
let them play. They're college kids. Let them play. Nothing malicious there. No problem with that.
So the foul is called on Bohannon, and it will be reviewed. Did she just say what he said?
The referee just.
Did she just say what he said? All right. Well, yeah. See, Dan Scheistley, our PA guy, he's all over it, man.
That was funny. What he said.
Good job there, Cameron Inouye. For why do I need to say it again? She just said it. All right, so they're going to look at this, and I think they're going to have to look at all the elements here of the elbow, and then the push, and then Key getting in the middle of it, and all of this. So
I got no issue with any of that. I love it.
Hey, it's a 23-point game, but this game's got some intensity.
Absolutely. Look, the emotions are high. Clara Strack's in her hometown. She's having a great game. She's got a little elbow going. Who cares? These are high-level Division I college basketball athletes. I didn't see any ill intent going on there. Sometimes these things get a little over-officiated, and I appreciate it. The refs want to make sure they keep a control on this game and not let it get out of hand, but you're talking about some of the best women's athletes in America. That stuff's going to happen. It's physical. I got no issue with any of that.
All right, so you see Cameron Inouye and Frank Sterator at the monitor right now, trying to look this thing over and figure it all out. And I love that we have the addition now of the referee Mike to be able to, not only do we get to know, but everybody in the building gets to know, and you get to know at home exactly what's going on. All right, will this just be another excuse for Buffalo fans to be mad at one of the Sterator family?
Well, you know me. If you start getting me going on these replays.
Yeah, in case you're wondering, Frank is Gene Sterator's brother. Long-time football and basketball official himself, just like his older brother was.
We should be able to put a clock on the refs, just like they do on the players. If you can't figure anything out in about a minute and a half, it's nothing. Play on.
All right. So we think we might get some flagrant fouls here, probably on both sides.
Yeah, I say, as long as it's a 1-for-1, if you're going to do anything, give one to each player.
All right, and now some more looks as our third official, Felicia Young.
And they just sent both the teams back to their huddles as well.
I would expect if we're going to get a couple of flagrants, one's going to be on Strack and one's probably going to be on Bohannon.
Yeah, and that which is fine as long as it's that if you're going to do anything, you give one to each player, kind of offset them a little bit. It's like the offsetting penalties and flow. As long as nothing dramatic happens, I didn't think anything rose to anything more than maybe a flagrant one for each player.
And I'm sure Kenny Brooks doesn't hate this because it means there's another team that's down on the scoreboard which isn't giving up, and his team is standing up in a game that you might normally be thinking about when's the bus leaving now.
Well, you find out a lot about your team. They don't know much about either of these teams. That's exactly what he said to us. When you and I talked to him on Saturday morning, we asked him, all right, it's been 2 games. What do you know about your team? He goes, not much. Yeah. It's new. We're trying to figure this thing out as we go. So he's learning something about his players, how they handle situations. On the flip side, Coach Sharkey, Maybe not going to be happy if there's a flagrant foul. I don't want to speak for her, but I can't imagine she's too upset that Bohannon's not backing down. She's got a little bit of that dog, that blue collar in her that we hear from all these Buffalo coaches, that blue collar Western New York vibe. She didn't back down from players a couple inches taller than her, bigger than her. She got kind of right back into it.
All right, so both coaches will join the officials now and get the explanation as the decision has been made.
I always like seeing the reactions and trying to predict what we got going here.
You can see Cameron Inouye holding the elbow
and Coach
up
Brooks
there.
looked away, so that's probably saying, okay, Strack's going to get one for the elbow, and now they're going to tell Coach Sharkey maybe Bohannon's going to get one for pushing Strack afterwards there. All in all, though, pretty calm, cool, and collected there from both teams, or from both coaches.
All right, and here should be the call.
Here we go.
Okay, the call on the floor initially is a foul on blue 32. Following the common foul, number 13, White, is going to get a flagrant 1. And also, number 32, Blue, is going to get a flagrant 1. Those two will cancel. And then the last flagrant 1 will be on White 7. So we will continue play. Blue's going to get 2 shots, and the ball, anybody can shoot from Blue.
Excellent job by Cameron Inouye, our lead official here today. That is perfect.
I wish we could have a camera on Claire Strack. I am loving it. She is getting into it. She mockingly just clapped at the Buffalo fans when they cheered for when it was announced that she'd be getting a flagrant 1. Then when her teammate also got a flagrant 1, she just turned around and pumped up all the Kentucky fans behind the bench and started cheering. I love it. What a show. Look at this. Look at the mocking clap there.
There you go. Look at that. Oh, good job, guys, in getting that shot. That's awesome.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, so ultimately, Strack and Bohannon offset, but then when Key got involved afterwards, she gets the extra flagrant that's going to send Paolo Lopez to the line.
Too bad. I mean, I'm going to take Tiana Key's side here for a second. I got no issue with Strack and Bohannon getting it, but Key just kind of stepped in to defend her teammate there and pushed Bohannon away from Strack. So that's probably what Coach Brooks looked a little annoyed about, that there was another flagrant on top of the 2. But yeah, a lot of housekeeping to be done there.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like we're ready to go yet.
You know what? Again, just back to that shot of Clara Strack. Like, she's fired up, and the atmosphere has made it even better for her. And credit to the Buffalo fans, because they put up a huge cheer when that was the first one that was announced.
Oh man!
And we still have our officials at the monitor, and I don't exactly know why they're still trying to figure this out. But we are ready for free throws, technical free throws here for 2 for Paolo Lopez.
You just know there's going to be a facetious clap here from the Kentucky fans if she misses one.
Well, that review took a little over 6 minutes, but I believe they got it right. And again, I have no quibbles with Cameron Inouye's explanation, because it was extensive and specific and exactly what you want it to be.
Oh, I like that. This is a great new addition to the broadcast, instead of the 2 of us up here just guessing what's going on.
Because most of the time we are,
yeah.
So that's great. And so we're back to basketball after the 2 free throws that gives Paolo Lopez double figures, and that shot off the backboard, and it brings our 3rd quarter to a close. Man, the score may be what the score is, but this has been fun and interesting and entertaining. Let's see if the 4th quarter is too. Eventful and interesting 3rd quarter where Kentucky only outscored Buffalo 16-15. Again, the rebounding edge still on the Buffalo side, which you wouldn't have expected in a game like this based on Kentucky's fighting battle going on both teams there. So this has been a fun, even though the score is probably what you sort of expected the score might be in this kind of a game. Off the miss, here comes Buffalo back on offense.
I mean, let's not forget, too, this is a team, a Kentucky team that just beat Monmouth 104-46 like 3 days ago. So Buffalo's doing a really nice job of hanging in against a superior team.
Another block shot, that one by Hassett. That's the 8th block of the game for Kentucky. They quickly get it down to Keegan. She gets surrounded, has to kick it out to Strack. Back to the corner. Morgan to the cutter, Strack, and one.
Yeah, that's the right call. I think Paula Lopez was probably a half second too late to getting set. You got to be set and established before she takes off, and Lopez just late to getting to her spot there, but still a nice effort defensively. Great finish through contact from Strack.
Yeah, so Clara Strack now 23 points and 9 rebounds, a chance to add one more, and she does. Boy, all in all, this weekend couldn't have gone a whole lot better for her, could it?
No, absolutely not. This has probably been a dream.
Yeah, about 100 people showed up at her high school yesterday for a little shoot-around, meet and greet in the gym, and all kinds of friends and family there. And again, we have showed you, and we certainly can again, all of the people sitting behind the Kentucky bench that were here to cheer on Clara Strack. So what a cool event for the Western New York basketball community.
Absolutely, absolutely. To see one of your own succeed like this on the highest level, pretty cool.
And this is an area that has really started to turn out some pretty high-level women's basketball players. You know, you've got players in the Big Ten. You've got players in the SEC. A couple of them. You know, I mean, that's what's fun about Western New York has become a really good women's basketball city. And how about that spinning three-point attempt? Gonna be for Janiyah Bohannon.
Super impressed with Bohannon here today. Her athleticism, one of those things that doesn't show up on paper when you watch her play. She's got a lot of hops. She's quick. She's long. I think this is a nice find here for Coach Sharkey.
6-foot junior from Cleveland, Ohio, a transfer from Howard, where she played 55 games over the last couple of years. No good on the free throw, and that's rebound number 10 for Clara Strack. Get it to the corner. 3 will not go for Amelia Hassett. Offensive rebound, though, for the Wildcats. Step around move, no good that time for Morgan, but the putback finally goes for Tiani Key.
Having a nice start to the season here for Key. She had 14 points, 3 boards, 6 blocks on the season already.
15 and 9 with the goals so far here today for Key.
We've spent so much time, and rightfully so, talking about Clara Strack, but you tend to forget about how darn good the rest of this roster is, and the triplets, as Kentucky affectionately refers to them as. How about this stat with those 3 players? The Wildcats return 46.7% of their scoring and 71% of its rebounding in 3 players alone from last year.
Wow. You saw the steal by Clara Strack as she continues to fill this score sheet, and she's going to get another chance here. She's going to go to the line. 24 points, 10 rebounds, 4 blocks, 1 steal, and 2 assists right now for Clara Strack. That last foul was on Buffalo's Gabby McDuffie. There you get a look at some of that stat line. Double-double here for Clara Strack.
15 of those last season, which was good for 4th best in the SEC.
And make it 25 points. Lopez, runner from the lane, good.
Nice little second half Paula Lopez is putting together here.
10 of her 12 points here in the second half.
Especially after going down with what looked like a pretty painful fall.
Yeah, she is likely, because of her talent and experience, going to be the player Buffalo is going to rely on offensively to be their leading scorer this year.
Yep. Yep, I think there's a lot of promise for Anaya Rowe, still very young. I think Anaya Coleman's going to have her nights here and there when she starts to heat up from beyond the arc. She's a good ball handler as well. So there's absolutely good pieces on this team. It's going to take a minute.
And it's interesting for Paola Lopez. She was a role player last year, maybe played 10, 12 minutes a game. Always sometimes felt like she tried to do too much in those limited minutes, and now she's got the minutes and the leadership, and everybody's looking to her. She has to, and that's what Kristen Sharkey said. She's working on getting her to slow down.
Yeah, it's easier to settle in when you know you're going to get 28 or 30 minutes to play, as opposed to your point, when you know you only got 10, you're trying your best to go in there and make an impression. You want to do as much as you can in those 10, 12 minutes, and that's when you start to see the mistakes, the errors. She's a different player here already through 2 games. I've noticed she's settling in a little bit. She's a little more steady with the ball. She knows she can make a mistake and she's not going to get taken out. And I think that does a lot mentally for a player.
Tiani Keys had a nice afternoon, 15 points and 11 rebounds. Checks out, replaced by Kaylin Carroll, the freshman from Dedham, Massachusetts.
Correction, and fouls on number 11, Deanna Thompson. That's her second personal foul.
So to the line right now is Toni Morgan, the senior from Tallahassee. No good on the first. Big shoes to fill, the outstanding point guard Georgia Amore, who graduated this year from Kentucky. But Toni Morgan, after a nice career in the ACC at Georgia Tech, seems like she's ready to step into that job.
Yeah, they did a really nice job in the portal. Kentucky did. You just named Toni Morgan, the 2025 All-ACC second teamer at Georgia Tech. They get an Asia Boone, who's a 2025 All-Conference USA at Liberty. Josie Gilvin, 2025 All-Conference USA second team at Western Kentucky. They really reloaded this team through the portal just to add to the triplets, as we've been referring to them, in Strack, Key, and Hassett.
Inbound goes to Lopez, baseline drive. Paola flips it up, no good. There's another board for Strack, number 11. Carroll for 3, front rim no good. Hassett with the rebound, up strong and in.
Rebound and pass to Amelia Hassett for the Wildcats.
3-pointers have just not fallen for Kentucky today. Credit this UB perimeter defense. 3 of 21 from beyond the arc are the Wildcats.
Yeah, it hasn't been a good 3-point shooting day for either team here today.
Pretty hard to believe after they just made 17 threes a couple of nights ago.
And that's a pretty pull-up jumper for Amber Howard. 7 points in the game for her. I know Kristen Sharkey, if she had her way, would want to hoist up about 25 or 30 threes a game, but she just doesn't have that kind of personnel right now, and I don't think that's part of the plan for the Bulls this year. And again, everybody battling with Clara Strack right in the middle of it.
I think that was wise by Strack that time. She just put her hands up in the air and said, I'm not doing anything, I'm not touching anybody.
And it's going to send Clara Strack to the free throw line. And the first one is good. Well, guess what? New career high for Clara Strack in her hometown. How about that?
Are we surprised? By everything we were told about her, I'm not surprised at all that she came home and took care of business and did that.
Previous career high was 25 points, 27 and 12 for Clara Strack. And she checks out and gets a nice round of applause from all of her Hamburg High School folks over there behind the bench.
Was I supposed to remind you about something about Anaya Rowe?
Yes, you are. How about we'll do it after our last commercial break? Okay. Thank you for reminding me and for reminding the guys in control not to let me forget either. Gabby McDuffie drives the lane, had it blocked by Hassett. That is shot block number 9 today for Kentucky. Carroll thought about the 3, instead works it around. Hassett, 3, up, short. And a little bit of an air ball chant coming from the band here at UB.
How about this little fun note about the blocks last season, right? So we said they led the nation with about 7 blocks per game. Strack and Key alone combined for 4.1 blocks per game, which was more than 299 Division I teams averaged as a whole.
Amazing.
Can you believe that? Two players block more shots in a game than 300 teams do.
Lucas kicks it for Thompson. Under 5 minutes to go in this one. Deanna Thompson up and in.
Tough good contact there. She's trying to fix her hair now, which got pulled out of her ponytail, so she's doing a little hair fixing on defense. She's had a nice game too, quietly. She's played tough.
Nice down low feed, and that set up Tiani Key for points number 16 and 17. And Anaya Rowe will slow things down here, top of the key. Got a little motion in the offense now. Here's Gabby McDuffie, the transfer from Edinburgh. Had that shot blocked. That's block number 10 on the day. And back the other way. Morgan kicks to the corner. 3 in and out for Asia Boone. Pull up from in the lane will go that time for Toni Morgan.
Toni Morgan clapping, kind of cheering for herself there. She had a bit of a tough day shooting. Happy to see one go through. Yeah, Buffalo just hasn't been able to get anything consistently off this ball screen defense. Yeah, it's just...
And a steal by Kaylin Carroll, and she'll go end to end for the Buckets. And that'll bring on a timeout. We will take a break with Kentucky now up by 30 on their way to a 3-0 start. All right, I promised you a piece of trivia about Bulls redshirt freshman guard Anaya Rowe. She is the first player in UB women's basketball history to wear the number 7.
Whoa, okay.
Because that was a rule change last year, which used to not be able to wear numbers higher than 5, right?
Yep.
Well, that rule change now has opened all numbers up. So Anaya Rowe, the first ever player to wear number 7.
I don't know. I didn't know. You could have gone anywhere with that one.
You know, that's what makes it a good trivia question. And I got to feel like if that rule was in place when Sierra Dillard played here, as you see her in the black in the middle, she would have worn like 99 or something, right?
She is still a total goofball. Sitting next to Tessian Wuka as well, part of that Sweet 16 team, couple of MAC championships under their belt. Sierra Dillard, I got to imagine her number is going to be hanging here.
Oh, yeah.
In Alumni
That 24
Arena
will be up in the rafters at some point. She's one of this school's all-time greatest players and one of this school's all-time greatest people as well.
She's the best.
Yeah.
WNBA draft pick. She was a top 5 scorer in the country her senior year.
Having a great professional career in a bunch of different cities in Europe and throughout the Middle East and Asia. I can't keep track of where she's playing anymore, but she is lighting it up. And that's a corner 3 that will go for Amelia Hassett. And right back the other way. That's going to be a foul and not another blocked shot. Hassett has 5 blocks in the game already.
Yeah, just another really nice effort, but again, a little late on rotation, good pass. Those shots haven't been falling, you know, today for Kentucky. You don't hate the defense that Buffalo's played by any means. I mean, this is a team that averages 90 a game. So
Hassett fouls out with that one with 8 points, 5 rebounds, and the 5 block shots.
At the line will be Paula Lopez for the Bulls.
And Paula Lopez to the free throw line.
For 3 quarters, I really was impressed with UB's defense. I know the last few minutes things have gotten a little out of hand. You know the game's over. It seems like defensively UB's gotten a little lackadaisical in the last couple of minutes, but you know, you didn't allow 20 points in any of the 3 quarters going into this one. So, you know, a team that shoots it as well as they do, almost 50% from the floor this season, 90 points per game. I think overall you're pretty happy with how UB looked defensively for a majority of this game, considering the mismatches that they've had to deal with.
Sure, 13 points now for Lopez. Quick steal, that's Deanna Thompson. And she had it blocked as it was kind of coming off her hands anyway by Kaylin Carroll. Yeah, and Buffalo finally giving up the rebounding advantage just in the last couple of minutes as well. And, you know, again, that's you thought that this could, you know, this could be a 20 rebound edge for Kentucky based on their skill and their size, and Buffalo led the rebounding through the first 3 quarters of this one.
Yeah, at one point last year, the triplets, Strack, Key, and Hassett, averaged, all 3 of them were averaging more than 9 rebounds a game, which is just the 5th trio in D1 women's basketball history to set that benchmark. So yeah, this is absolutely one of the premier rebounding teams, and UB really held their own on the glass.
And here come the Bulls back the other way again. Again, this is valuable playing time for some of the young players that are still finding their way. Valuable playing time for the coaching staff to sort of see what kind of combinations might work. Lucas feeds over to Howard, and that goes! There's number 7, Anaya Rowe.
You're exactly right. How valuable is this? Rowe, redshirt freshman, on the court. Thompson, freshman, on the court. Meg Lucas, a freshman, on the court. Amber Howard, a sophomore, on the court. You know, this is unbelievable experience here early in the season for these youngsters that I think Coach Sharkey thinks extremely highly of here early.
Free throw rolls off. Back the other way comes Jordan Obi. Again, playing time valuable for her after having missed all of last year with an Achilles injury. They're going to count a lot on her, so that's probably why she's still in this game. Top of the key for Gilvin. Josie Gilvin will pull up, 5-footer good. Senior from Louisville, Kentucky, transfer from Western Kentucky. Her first bucket of the game.
Gabby Brooks in for Kentucky as well, the daughter of head coach Kenny Brooks.
And that's Deanna Thompson with a 3 for the Bulls. Yeah, that's pretty cool to see Gabby Brooks getting some playing time as well. Came with her dad from Virginia Tech.
She made a couple of threes last game. She's 2 for 2 from beyond the arc.
Buffalo foul on number 12, Paula Lopez, her second personal foul.
So the Bulls will head on the road for their next game at Vermont, and then back home again a week from today to take on the Fordham Rams. Both of those are pretty tough tests. Good long-term programs in the America East and in the Atlantic 10.
Redshirt freshman Ella Corey, 5'9", out of Clarence Center, New York, just checked into the game for the first time.
Another Western New York native. And of course, the story of the day, speaking of Western New York natives, is the homecoming for Clara Strack, a new career high, 27 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 blocks, and just showing off for all of her fans and supporters and the people that love her and mean so much to her here in the Buffalo area. And you don't always get the storybook day.
Yeah.
I'm glad she did. Her high school basketball coach here, so many teachers and friends and family members here as well today. And you know, to be able to turn in a new career high in front of all of them for the only time she'll ever likely play cool in front of them is pretty darn cool. Final minute of this game. Down on the low block, kick it into the key for Gilvin. And that 3 won't go. Clock stopped at 34.1 seconds left. Clara Strack has a younger sister who still plays and attends Hamburg High School. They had a chance to overlap senior freshmen when they were in high school, and Clara has talked about how important that was to her and what it meant, you know, for her to play with her sister Daisy. So I know she's here as well too, and another little cool aspect of the whole story.
Absolutely.
Parents are veterans. With Veterans Day coming up this week, man, couldn't have scripted any of this any better. Final seconds of this one on what's been a fun day for women's college basketball here at Buffalo's Alumni Arena, to have the pleasure of seeing a top 25 team in person and to see some of the best players in the country play in front of this Buffalo crowd has been terrific. The outcome may not be what the Buffalo fans wanted, but I think you take a step back from that and you go, this was pretty darn cool. Final seconds. One more shot. No, it ends with a block shot, has been the story of the day, and it ends up an 81-47 Kentucky victory as the 24th ranked Wildcats come to Buffalo, do what they need to do, what they were supposed to do, and oh, by the way, make it a day that one of their players will never forget.
Absolutely. It was from start to finish. The storytelling was exciting. The game for a while there was exciting. And if you're Buffalo, we knew that this was going to be a problem, right? The height was an issue, the length, the athleticism. Everything was stacked against UB today. Credit to them. Hats off to Coach Sharkey and her staff. She had her team ready to go. The effort, the energy was there. They played hard. And what a treat to be able to watch Kentucky. I have a feeling we're going to get to see them later this season in the SEC tournament and even into March, because I just don't see how that team, built as well as they are, coached as well as they are, that this isn't absolutely one of the top 15, 20 teams in America.
And you can see the Bulls huddle around there, new head coach Kristen Sharkey, and I'm sure some of that message will be that she was proud of the fight and the battle that her team showed here today. And again, the Bulls don't have a whole lot of teams with the athletic ability and size that Kentucky does, so a lot of the positives that come from today can be transferred into some of those other games.
Absolutely, and you know, as cool as it was to see Kentucky play, also awesome to pay a little homage to the WNIT championship. I know we dropped the banner from last season, 30 wins, so all in all, awesome game, great learning experience for this young, new Buffalo team, and just another unbelievably good performance from one of the best teams in America.
Yeah, it was a fun one for us to be a part of. We hope you enjoyed watching it as well, too, to see it from the banner raising to a good effort by the Bulls to seeing the great storyline of Clara Strack have her best game here today. We thank you for joining us on this Sunday afternoon. For our entire crew and Matt Mattia, my name is Paul Peck. This has been a production of ESPN and the Mid-American Conference.